Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of Midweek Matters. I'm the host, James Graham, joined as always by Charlie White.
How are you, Jimmy? You going good?
I'm going very well, mate. How are you going?
I'm going good, mate. I've had sort of a strange week. I had a car accident with a bus on Monday.
Oh, you brought, mate. Look what I've wrote at the top of my rundown. Car crash. Because I've actually received a call about this.
Who told you about the car crash?
I can't tell you. I don't reveal my sources, but basically you've left someone traumatized, injured.
Well, that's not true. That's all bollocks.
They've called the show.
Well, that's
They've
a lie.
made contact with me to say they want your details because you didn't leave your insurance. Well, why have they contacted me?
I do have a bone to pick with the insurance because, in all honesty, it wasn't my fault. A bus has crashed into me while changing lanes. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But the I'm with Budget Direct Car Insurance, and I went to the to get this thing checked at their smash repairs, and my excess is like $1,300. I'm like, it's not my fault. Why am I paying the excess? And also, it's a little scratch. I'll take it to a cash in hand bloke down the road. He'll do a better job, I reckon, for cheaper.
Cash in hand.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't what I've been told.
What have you been told then?
I've had a distressed individual call me saying they were on the bus and you've rammed into the bus. You were on your phone, listening to Midweek Matters, listening to yourself. And you've been so shocked at what you've said, that what you've realised you've said, and you've turned the...
I was so impressed by what I said. It was such a good point.
It was so unbelievable.
Just there scrolling through the comments.
Yeah. Hopefully no one was harmed.
Nah, no one was harmed. The bus is actually Mazda CX-5, great car, the Mazda. The bus was worse off than the Mazda.
Really?
Like, you wouldn't expect that, a bus and a Mazda.
No. When you say you've been hit by a bus, I mean, it means nothing anymore, does it? Hit by a bus, but I'm in my Mazda.
I'm in my Mazda. Yeah. I might just go around driving into more buses.
Mate, you are looking big. Like maybe you just that core, it just got oosh. Yeah.
Good car, the Mazda. But we do have a big announcement though.
Huge.
Just teased it sort of last week, but we're going to be doing a live show up in Magic Round.
Yes, we are.
All thanks to Ladbrokes, great supporters of the buy round, and it's going to be a couple very special guests.
We have got two great guests, which are going to be amazing for up there.
You happy for me to say them? I know.
I don't like.
But why do you like everything to be a surprise? You know, these
because
people
you don't get many surprises in life. So imagine you go there and you're like, they won't be that good. They won't be that good, and then like, oh wow,
yeah,
they are.
Yeah, but see, then now you've pumped it up so much. What if they're like, oh, I was expecting, I don't know, the biggest star in the world, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi on the panel. And then, it's just a couple of absolute legends in the world of rugby league.
Yeah, well, I think if you were expecting Messi and Ronaldo, you've
come to the wrong place.
Probably, yeah.
It is a giveaway though, because it's all drinks, food, everything included. When we do a live show, we do it like doing it for free.
Yes.
Okay, so if you come to this, you're just going to be able to kick back, enjoy a beer, enjoy a feed, and watch a footy podcast.
You can bring a friend as well, right?
You can, of course. So we got 30 double passes up for grabs, and it's pretty simple. There's going to be a post on our Instagram, and basically you just comment the 3 teams that you think are going to win in Magic Round, in round 11. So that's very simple entrance. All you got to do.
You don't even have to be right.
You don't even have to be right. No,
you just say who you think is going to win.
You just got to comment who's going to win, and then that goes into a lucky draw, and we pick 30 winners from that lucky draw.
Mate, why did I leave that meeting early? I left this thing to you for the how to win it.
Yeah.
And this is the degree of difficulty that you've come up with.
But let's just make it easy. The more entrants, the better, I say.
Get the viewers thinking.
Yeah, well, that's all they've got to do. Comment 3 teams.
Just think who's...
Yeah.
Do you know, if anyone says the Dragons...
Pick an upset.
If anyone says the Dragons, they're not allowed.
You're barred.
You're barred.
Yeah.
You know why?
Because they've got the bye.
They've got the bye.
Yeah,
I'm glad you. I was like, I thought you thought I was going to be having a pop at the Dragons there. But.
If you pick the Dogs to win, you're also barred.
Why?
Because they got no chance.
You don't. Did they not dominate the Roosters last week?
They almost lost to 11 men.
Did they not dominate the Roosters last week? They almost lost
to 11 men. It was the worst second half performance.
Answer me this question. Did they not dominate the Roosters last week?
They did not.
Were you watching the same? First touch of the ball.
Yeah.
The first play, score a try. Second play, of defense, force and error, domination.
It wasn't a domination.
And you were texting with your smug little attitude, wanting me to implode. I was cool as a cucumber.
You were not cool as a cucumber. You were stressing out because I've heard from people that were with you at Fox Sports, and you were pacing around the green room, stressed out of your mind. It was the worst second half performance in rugby league history.
When Jacob Carraz did that offload, like I screamed, like I was like, "What the fuck?" So it was late in the second half. Carraz is in. He's got like 3 players. Offloads like down to the floor. Man, I nearly had a kitten. Like
it was crazy. It was a crazy game.
Oh man, alive! It was nuts. But I think what we've seen is, you forgive the lads for thinking that the game was done and the job was done.
Yeah.
So for you saying that our listeners shouldn't comment the Bulldogs.
They got the Raiders. Tough matchup in Magic Round.
But you would say that about any team.
Don't know, mate. I don't know. But just quickly, though, in all honesty, like Doggies fans, just taking the piss, it was a good win. It was a terrible second half. It would have been the worst loss in NRL history / the greatest win in NRL history at the same time.
Dominant first half.
Yeah. Would you say that second half was the worst half of footy you've seen by a team?
I think it was just relaxed.
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to say in the whole history of rugby league.
There was a 15-minute period of the game in the second half where the Bulldogs only had 1 set, which they actually completed, and the Roosters scored 4 tries. I think, what it goes to show is that a lot of those Bulldogs players were injured and they played through the pain.
Roosters were down to 12 men. Roosters were down to 12 men for the whole game. And they had Teddy off with a HIA and Sam Walker off with a HIA.
I know. And we had Blake Taff, who was having the game of his life.
Yeah, he was having the game of his life. I'm just ashamed.
Best game he's ever played in all his career so far. That cover tackle on Dom Young. Well done, Blake Taff.
We should say, so this is 30 giveaway, 30 double passes, you and a mate. It's going to be a lot of fun, and the winners will be decided on Tuesday, 30th of April. And I should say there is eligibility requirements, and T's and C's do apply, and they're available at the Ladbrokes website, ladbrokes.com.au. It does exclude South Australian ACT participants, listeners, and then travel and accommodation is not included. So You've got to be there in Magic Day. You've got to get your own way. But then once you're there, you don't need to pay a cent. Just kick back and enjoy. And the competition closes on the 28th of April.
Interesting that some states are excluded.
Yeah, I think that you can't... it's to do with the fact that it's Ladbrokes, I think. That you can't have South Australian ACT a part of it. But I should say you win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
Great read, Charlie.
No worries. And we're going to start with something that we've been doing the last few weeks, Idiot of the Week, Jimmy. And there's a man in your headlights.
Yes, Charlie. I've had a couple of run-ins with this person in the past, and it's Peter FitzSimons and his article in the Sydney Morning Herald on, I think it was Sunday. It was Sunday, yeah. Basically calling for James Tedesco to retire. And it really struck a nerve. And I know, and even Peter mentions in his article, this will draw flack from the usual suspects. It's drawn flack from me because it's the behaviour of a parasite. Nothing more than nothing less than the behaviour of a parasite. Now, for those people that don't know, what a parasite needs is a host to stay alive. And this type of behaviour is using our game and the very serious nature of concussion in order to stay relevant or alive. It's what a parasite would do. And he has no right to publicly recommend that James Tedesco should retire from the game of rugby league and all the complexity. It's basically like me saying, Peter, I think you passed it. I think you should retire from journalism. Like, it should carry the same weight because I think you're talking nonsense. I think you've had enough nonsense. So time for you to move on and retire. because your articles, there's nothing constructive about it. It's just, like I say, it's the behaviour of an acting like a parasite would. So, like, I'm just looking at this article. He talks about his colleague at the Herald, Adrian Prezenko, that spoke to James Tedesco. And James Tedesco says he's fine. Well, one, if you're a journalist, you shouldn't be speaking to somebody that suffered a concussion and is still recovering from a concussion.
Absolutely.
You shouldn't be. You're not, I don't actually think you're technically allowed.
You shouldn't be, no.
Shouldn't be doing that. And then also, what are you expecting James Tedesco to say to a journalist he doesn't know? Pour it all out, lay it all on the line to him? Like, oh, I'm struggling with this. Like, fine is the default answer. And if you're not smart enough to figure that out, then you've got some issues there. You should retire based off the think that you're taking his answer as fine. Like, what do you want Tedesco to do? Pour his heart out to a journalist that he doesn't know? And then he goes on to say, James Tedesco, can I have a quiet word? This is one of the lines he's written in this article. James Tedesco, can I have a quiet word? In the newspaper. Like, in the newspaper, you're asking for a quiet word. There's evidence that you should retire and give it up. That you're asking someone for a quiet word in the newspaper. Doesn't make sense, Peter. Does not make sense. You then go on to say, but mate, talking about being bulletproof, well, and great players feeling that they're bulletproof. Well, if that's the case, if that's an attribute, you pay the price for that. And we know that. And James knows that. I knew that. Everybody playing the game knows that. We know about the potential long-term consequences of playing our sport and our game. Everybody is educated and aware of that, I believe. And they should be. And they should take responsibility for that. And that attribute, it might be the greatest positive in a person, but it almost might come to their demise later on. But then Peter goes on to say, but mate, you need to think about this very, very carefully. He mentioned some other players that thought they were bulletproof. Thank you. Please reflect. Please reflect. So he's basically telling him to think and talk. He also says, I am one with no medical expertise. You got that part right. Well done. You got that part spot on. But then basically, please reflect, think very, very carefully. Finishes it off with, mate, there is no chance you will choose to break the pattern early. Give your brain the respite it no doubt desperately needs and call it a day. You've done enough, digger. Rest. Well, hang on. You're telling him to think, but then you're telling him what to do. I don't understand. Which is it? And who are you to tell somebody that? Like, you know, when you write this, that James's loved ones, his wife, his mum, dad, extended family and friends would all read this. And that does nothing helpful other than stir up unnecessary anxiety and stress. Oh, I've got this person writing this. Maybe then words get taken out of context. Then James, when he's actually going through a medical issue and you're making the situation worse. It's scum. He's behaving like a scumbag. Like he know the complexities around and the weight and the delicate nature and the consequences of such a decision, and you're calling for him to retire. How dare you do that? You don't know this person. It's honestly, it's like I say, he's saying it's going to draw flack. Well, you've got your reaction, but I'm calling it out for what it is, and it's the behavior of a parasite. The primary goal of a parasite is to find a body a being, another life form, change the behavior of it sometimes in order to stay alive. And that's exactly what is happening here. And it's hit a nerve. It's really frustrated me because it's just something that shouldn't be going on, and he needs to be called out for it as well. Because when you put your name to something like that, you know that there's going to be comeback, and you know exactly what you're doing. So there's the comeback to Peter FitzSimons' disgraceful article on Sunday.
And I will say there is rugby league players currently playing that are dealing with pressures from their family to retire because of the fears of concussion. Yeah, it's a thing that family members of rugby league players are heavily concerned about. And to write something like this is just going to put so much unnecessary pressure on Tedesco.
And look, when facing that, the decision to potentially retire early, you don't need it played out in the press. And I understand that there may be some potential consequences, and we're talking about concussions in the game and changes to the rules and 18th men and should the kickoff stay or go. And I understand that and I'm an advocate for players more and more education, and an advocate for the ongoing care of every NRL player that's ever ceased to play a game of rugby league professionally. I'm a big advocate for that, and I think we need to do more. But what I would never ever do is tell someone to retire. It's just, you have no right to say that to anybody.
No. He's entitled to write an article saying how concerned he is about the concussions Tedesco's had, but to go out and tell him what to do is just, it's irresponsible.
It is irresponsible. I don't even know if he has the right to bring it up. This happens on a Friday, and he's got to write an article for a Sunday newspaper. I don't know if there was much to write about. Behaviour of a parasite.
Well, there is a lot of rugby league to talk about as well.
Let's
get into that.
Move on, because otherwise the podcast will be taken up by me talking about him.
We can do a full show on it.
Yeah.
The massive news, it's still the South Sydney Rabbitohs there. Free fall continues, and the teams came out Tuesday, and Jace Demetrio has made a huge call dropping Damien Cook.
I know. Massive. I read the team list yesterday and sort of went over it, and then it wasn't until the analysis at the bottom where Damien Cook's out, and I was like, oh, wow. Big play from JD. Obviously, something needed to change. Style, attitude, mindset, tactically, or personnel-wise. They've got plenty of injuries to deal with in terms of Jai Arrow, Campbell Graham.
Latrell suspended.
Latrell Mitchell suspended, so there's a lot of experience out.
Johnson's still out.
Johnson's still out, yeah. A lot of experience out through injury and suspension with Latrell. But then to say to Cookie, you're not playing now. I know Cook was involved in a couple of missed tackles, and I don't know what's going on exactly there. Because I've spoke, well, I think I said it was cheese with, if I'm in charge at Souths, or if I'm in and around there and got to feel like I can be influential, I'm talking about Cook, I'm talking about Walker, and I'm talking about Tommy Burgess, basically saying, we've not got long left. We've not got left. These guys don't have many chances left. Let's do it for them. Time's running out. Tom's going at the end of the year. Cody's 34. Cook's 32. We talked about being in a premiership window. We can actually still do something, because 12 months ago we were top of the league and on fire, and looking like we were on the way to a top 4 finish and give ourselves a great opportunity to win a premiership again. Those are the 3 people I'd be driving the narrative towards and using as an example, because I've been in that situation before where you look around and you're like, the chances of me winning a premiership now, like the numbers are going. I've got maybe 2 cracks left, 3, or now I've got 1. And then you see some people that don't have that same level of desperation because you know it's going. Like Cody and Cookie know it's going. They know the chances are dwindling. And for them then to turn around to Damien and say, you're not playing, it's come as a huge surprise.
I think Jason Demetriou is sending a message saying doesn't think Cook's playing for him. He's not playing for him. And he's like, well, if you're not going to play for me, if you're not going to help me, my job is on the line. I want someone who's going to play for me. I'm going to throw this guy in. Peter Mamazoulis. It's the move of a man looking for answers, a move of a man, desperate to get results. But
yeah,
I think
of course. Well, because they are desperate.
Big message to send. I think it's a great message to send. It's like, you guys haven't been playing for me. All right, I'm going to give it a chance to someone else.
Yeah, maybe those players that are picked, it's like, well, for Mamazoulis, he's like, great, coach thinks I'm the answer. For the other players in the team, it's maybe a bit of a, oh, shit, like it's serious now. But I imagine
it should be serious already.
They should be thinking it's, because it's round 6 and they've won 1 game. They've had a tough draw, but
they've had a tough draw, but the performances are going this way.
That's
even though they're losing, their performances are, that's audio, so the performances are sliding.
Yes, well, even against the Dogs, like, they completed really well. They had a lot more respect for the ball. Their discipline was poor. And the Dogs weren't that far away from them. It's a big call. And obviously, the news around what's going to happen should Jason Demetriou lose this game, they've got the bye the following week. Yeah.
Just on what's going to happen to Jade, if he does get sacked, all the chat is that Wayne Bennett's going to come back. Why would Wayne Bennett want the Rabbitohs job next year? No,
not until
of course, next year, of course. But why would Wayne Bennett want that job? In my opinion, it's an average job for a coach. It's a big rebuild. Yes, it's a big club, but we're going to talk about the Parramatta Eels.
So you think you're of the opinion that they're not in this window that they're
miles
about.
away from a premiership window now.
They lose Tom Burgess. They lose. Well, like I say, Walker's 34,
Cook's older,
32.
And they're showing signs of aging, the two of them.
I think with Wayne, no, he'd believe that he can generate, like with a club like South, they can generate a quick turnover of players.
Yep.
And he can go in there and go, Whiten and Latrell are my men, and I'll get them back. Well, I think Whiten's actually been really good since
he's been the best player, probably.
Yeah. He doesn't seem to be carrying the divots of maybe some events from last season. But maybe Bennett's looking at it and going, I can get more out of Latrell and I can fix him. I'm not going to take away from what I'm going to just dial him down a little bit in terms of what appears to be some self-sabotage stuff. Like, the interview with Triple M, a couple of incidences against the Warriors on the weekend. It seems like he's well, he said in that interview, I don't care that I'm swearing. I think he needs. I think Wayne could help.
Yeah.
But then also Wayne would look at it and go, I think I can get a couple of other handy players in and make a big difference.
What if, though, the Parramatta Eels job's up and you got the Rabbitohs job and the Eels job? I think the Eels job's far more appetising. They're far closer to a premiership than the Rabbitohs are. And Wayne Bennett, he's not looking to go and have to do a 3-4 year rebuild of South Sydney.
No.
He's not at that time from his career.
No, he's probably 2 year, maybe he goes
2 year jobs.
Yeah, maybe he's going 2 year job. So, let's say if, and there's a lot, because obviously we're talking about 2 being carried out by two very good coaches in Brad Arthur and Jason Dimitri.
Yeah. Well, Brad Arthur's one of the longest tenured coaches in the NRL.
I'm just going to toss this up. If they both lose their job, I could see JD at Para.
Yeah.
If Wayne goes to Souths, I could see Dimitri going to Parramatta.
Yeah, because there's no questioning Dimitri's coaching ability. This is a really tough situation he's found himself in, where he coming off Wayne Bennett as the coach before is always tough, but you've also then got this team that maybe we all of the media's overrated a little bit as well. Yes, they were flying at one point last year before Magic Round, but whatever's gone on, I reckon some of this is outside of JD's control, the way things have fallen apart.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. But if you're Bennett, he's obviously got the relationship with South Sydney. That's what would advantage them, again, if these two jobs become available.
On Latrell Mitchell, you spoke about him before. Michael Chalmers has written a really good article that I would recommend reading to anyone that wants to on the Sydney Morning Herald. It's a great read about Latrell Mitchell, and basically his character has been questioned since this incident, and if he still wants to play rugby league has been questioned. Well, he's come out and gone and spoken to the boys and basically said, no, I'm all in.
Well, look, maybe he's addressed the elephant in the room, and it's what you like to hear. But if you're one of those players, you want to see something. And like I say, I think Latrell has been self-sabotaging, and I know what that it is like when you can't see the wood for the trees, and it's you against the world, and but Latrell and those people close around him just need to remind him of just how important he is on a football field. Like, I know there's more to life than football, but he's an incredibly talented player, someone a lot of people look up to, has the weight of the world on his shoulders at times, but whenever things are happening in life, football's for me, it was always the place I could forget for a few things, and like, it always made me feel alive, and it was good. So I don't know, I think if you're obviously a lot going on, and it's hard to, when there's so much out there about one particular individual, I just think those that Latrell listens to just needs to remind him about just how good football is, and how good he is at that art form. So
before we move on from South Sydney, I just want to ask you, if you're the captain in that dressing room, and it's putting you on the spot a little bit, what's your message going into this game? Must win. They know that if they lose, JD's gone.
Well, the thing is, it's hard because you're asking me now, and I'm going to go instantly. I'm thinking like, boom, boom, boom. But if you're Cam Murray, you know about what's already been said the last 6 weeks, or maybe the last 3 weeks.
Is Cam Murray a big talker as the captain, though? I don't even... Would he be giving out a big message before? He doesn't seem like that sort of captain.
No, he doesn't. But I think, again, like, speak about Latrell, and Cam's got to realise that his... there's a level of importance to what he says and the influence that you can have with your words. Yeah, like I said about Latrell, action. Cam Murray brings it every week, but he needs to, like, I'm thinking about when I was a younger forward coming through, or even more experienced, like the influence that some of my teammates could have on me just by a word or two. Like, I remember playing a test match against New Zealand, come out of a collision, my medial, it's like on my knee, I was like limping a bit, and Sam's just looked at me and said, mate, I need you, come on. Shook it off, like, I'm just, all right, okay, yeah. Where if I don't have him say that, if he's just carrying on, doing his thing and trying to be inspiring with his actions, I don't think I continue that game. And there's been numerous examples where, going into a big game and then just look across, see someone, give you the nod, give you the look, or give you the, you have a conversation at captain's run around, we're going tomorrow, like we're going to go off. Just get those people that you can influence, or you address the group. And I've done it before where I've been that person. Like, captain's run. You say, lads, I'm not going to speak after this, but here's what I'm doing tomorrow. And I reckon if you can, Murray, that's what you got to do. Like, maybe do something different. And you say, Thursday we get in. This is what I'm doing tomorrow. I don't really give a fuck about what you do, but this is what I'm doing because I'm fighting for this club. You're not going to hear much from me from this moment forward. So I'm going to go and finish, do my extras, do my stretch, massage. We'll have a feed, whatever. But I'm zoning in. I'm not going to say anything tomorrow, but remember this. I'm going. Fucking leave it at that. And then everyone goes, fuck. And you can have an impact with what you say. And as a leader, that's what you need to do.
No, I love it. Love that. I can just imagine you in the dressing sheds. It would be quite a spectacle. I think you were doing a commentary game with Wade Graham, and it was like an Anzac Day clash, and he asked you a similar question at the end of the game, and you just fucking like clicked in when into captain mode. I was like, oh,
he's still in there.
Yeah.
Oh, rattling the cage.
Parramatta Eels. They're in all sorts. If the Bunnies weren't having as big a slide as them, Parramatta would probably be the biggest story in the game right now.
Yeah.
There's some whispers around that maybe the players have a lot of control in Parramatta, and that maybe they're given too much leeway with how they behave and how they operate in training sessions and all of the like. But something is going wrong with Parramatta. It feels like Mitchell Moses is a bit like Tom Trbojevic. You take him out of Parramatta and they can just completely fall apart.
Yeah, and everyone goes, shit, he's good. And everyone realises, like, Jesus Christ, we're maybe over-reliant on that one player. But then it's up to others to fill that void. And, no one's gonna be Tommy Trbojevic. No one's going to be Mitchell Moses, but we need some people to, make up for what we lose here. And, with Mitchell going, it's clear that they lose direction, but that's no excuse for losing it defensively and conceding as many points as what they did against the Raiders. Like, that's not Mitchell Moses isn't there. Like, controlling the middle third of the field. Like, that's other people's job. Yeah, they lose direction. And obviously, it's all comes in a circle. If the kicking game's better, then the kick chase is better, then Canberra aren't there as far down the field, and it has that flow and effect, so your defence isn't under as much pressure. Like, it's all interconnected and woven together and all part of it. But with Moses going, I wonder... I think Arthur should play the young kid that's on the verge of going
Ethan
to
Sanders. Yeah,
and just put him. And I know he's likely going to end up at Canberra, and they're going to be the benefactors of him getting first grade experience. But I think they need a genuine 7 in there.
Is he part of their top 30?
I think
because if he's not part of the top 30, I don't think he can play
yeah.
until round 10. He's not part of the top 30, so he can't play just yet.
Well, they've got Dijon Arcee in. Maybe.
Should we actually? Let's just fucking leave. Let's just because I don't know 1,000% if that's right. So maybe we'll just say Ethan Sanders, like, he's not part of their top 30, and just leave it at that.
Yeah.
So do you want to pick it up then from?
I say, well, Dijon Arcee's in this week, and Brown.
Does that work from continuity? Yeah. No, he's not in the top 30.
Yeah, so he can't play.
Is there any special dispensation or anything like that, or not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not in the top 30, Jimmy.
Yeah.
So he can't necessarily come straight in just yet. He's nearing being able to play.
Well, they've got Dijon Arcee in at 6, Brown at 7. Oh, I just think it takes away from Brown's natural game. Like having that
It's tough, mate, because they let Jacob Arthur go, so they're in this tough position where they haven't got a genuine backup 7, really.
It's difficult to know exactly what to do. That said, I think they'll bounce back this week against the Cowboys. I think they'll win.
You think they'll win?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, wow. Have you not been impressed with the Cowboys at times this year?
They've got results, but they were scratchy against the Gold Coast.
Yep.
Gold Coast in all sorts, and the Cowboys just I thought they were in first gear and lack concentration. I don't think we'll see a response from Parra.
Well, it's been their issue. They can't seem to put a great performance for 80 minutes. For about 20 minutes of a game, they look like they can score 100 points.
Yeah,
and then they'll just have these moments where they just
Interestingly, for the Eels, dropping Mike Acevo as well.
Scored 2 tries.
And he's being out for the first. He will be suspended. For the
his first game was against the Tigers when they lost to go on points. He's only played 2 games this year.
Yeah, big call from Brad Arthur. But again, after the grand final of 2022, not making the finals last year, same predicament as South Sydney. It's like the pressure's on there for Brad Arthur. And let's not forget the year they made the grand final, a month or 6 weeks before. Like, his job was
in the headlines.
Yeah. So
we shall see.
Yeah.
If I'm Wayne Bennett, I'm taking the Parramatta Eels job. But also, can I just say something? If it becomes available, obviously. Can I just say something there? Why do we always have to have succession plans with Wayne Bennett? Does my head in.
Yeah, just let him coach until he's done.
I don't care who his assistant is. Who he's gonna, why does Sam Burgess have to come with him?
Yeah, just let him coach.
Just let him be the coach.
Until he gets sacked like everybody else.
Figure
or he gets an
later.
Extension. Yeah. You're right there, Charlie. You should just, it doesn't need to be the succession plan.
But lately it's been succession plan after succession plan, and I'm sick of it.
The interesting now, the situation that both Souths and Para are in is like, who goes first? Because obviously, if you're too late, you miss out on potential candidates, or if you go too early, and it's a difficult situation for them both to be in. So, like, if you're Parramatta and you're like the power brokers and the people that make that decision, well, are we realistically going to get? Are we? If we sack Brad Arthur, this year's gone, which I think Parramatta, that's too early for them to do this year.
Big time.
With Souths, well, they're 4-1. If they go to 5-1, I think they put a line through this year anyway.
And it's not just that they're 5-1; they're like 5-16 since Magic Round last year. 5 wins, 16 losses.
Where Para probably looking at, they think they've still got something to give this year, especially with Moses coming back. So. Yeah, well, whatever happens, Charlie, the South's story isn't going away till they start winning, and it's the same with Para.
Absolutely.
Simple way to fix things. Yeah. For all the stuff we've spoken about, just win, baby.
Just win. And I will say this, I hope, Jace Demetrio will get another job after this as well. Absolutely.
No doubt.
And I love that you throw him up for the Eels job. But let's preview the round.
Yes, let's get into
round 6 already. It's pretty crazy how quick this season's going. And the Newcastle Knights taking on the Sydney Roosters, Thursday night footy. It's a big opportunity for the Knights to get the win, because for the Sydney Roosters, they've lost half their spine. They've got no Teddy, no Sam Walker out with the HIA, and obviously Dom Young suspended as well.
I'm going to go the Knights to lose against the Roosters.
That's a funny way of doing it. I'm going to go the Knights to lose.
Yeah, well, it's my same game multi as well, Charlie. Just got the Ladbrokes app open now. Roosters to win. Swell League Heat anytime try scorer. $7.53. Only Ladbrokes. 2 legs on Ladbrokes, yeah.
Good odds. I like it. It's a big game though, because the Knights, they obviously beat the Dragons last week in those awful conditions up there in Newcastle, but they've been very up and down. And I think this is one that they need to win if they're going to be a finals team. They've got to win games like these.
Yeah, I've not been that convinced with the Knights either. But yeah, I think the way in which the Roosters played last week, I think Robinson's given them the rocket, and I think they'll go up there and get the win.
It's been a very intense show, but this is another quite intense topic. The Michael Jennings 300. He's going to play his 300th game. One of the greatest centres of this sort of modern era of rugby league. Played for countless games for New South Wales. Obviously, he was allowed to come back in by the NRL.
Yeah.
The
So
NRL
they cleared him to come back.
Exactly right. After his doping ban.
Doping ban is gone.
Civil domestic violence, civil lawsuit with his ex-wife. But the NRL have let him back in. And I think that it's to then also just say to him, oh, we're not going to honour your 300th. Well, if you're why are you letting him back in the NRL then?
Yeah. Yeah, if he's back in, he's back in. Like
don't register him then.
He could potentially win the Dally M.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he will.
Would be one of the great Dally M upsets if he gets the Dally M from here.
Yeah.
But
that's my point,
yeah.
Obviously, and obviously Jared Hayne previously won it, and I think they're still looking into whether or not that's going to be wiped from the record books, but they've now allowed Jennings back in, so any milestone, any achievement, I don't know. It's surely it's an all-in situation. It's not a half-in.
Yeah.
We're going to register him to play, but then any achievement we're not going to acknowledge. I don't know.
I reckon they were maybe thinking, he's not going to play, so he's not going to make this team.
But he was only 2 games away, so they would have. So
yeah,
when they
I know, but maybe I'm thinking they look at the Roosters squad and they're like, Billy Smith, all these other players that they've got there.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like, why would they make? Because obviously they knew it would generate headlines, which it did when he was allowed to return. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. And I mean, there was a bit of media pressure coming the NRL's way straight away at the start of this week, and that's obviously caused them to do this. But
they needed to come out. They did need to come out and do something. And I'm not saying whether they should celebrate it or not. I think I'm more with you, Charlie, in the fact that like you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound, or you're not at all.
Exactly. It's like what you're saying is what he's done is terrible. We can't honour him. But we are going to let him pull on a jersey with the NRL logo on it.
Yeah, yeah.
We are going to let him pull on a jersey with the Sydney Roosters logo on it.
Whether it's 299, 298 games, 300, this is what we usually do. So, it's strange. Look, I don't envy the pressure of media and sponsors that they would be under, while also... everything else that they've got to balance, but it is strange.
Yeah, and I'm not saying they should honour him. I'm just saying if you let him in, you have to honour him, in my opinion.
I'm more with you that it's like if he's in, whatever happens. If Roosters make the grand final and he wins the Clive Churchill, he wins the Clive Churchill, and it's
yeah. Hence, that's what you open the door for these things to happen, like by letting him back in.
Exactly.
But you got the Roosters.
I do.
Storm Doggies then, Friday, 6 o'clock game. The Dogs, we've spoken about it, they nearly lost the unlosable. Against 11 players at one point. I was riding the Roosters home like you wouldn't believe. I was at the game. It was one of my favourite games I've watched in years.
Is it?
And the idea of
I hope you got really wet.
The idea, I was in the commentary box, so it was fine. I was in the producing there, yeah. And the idea of you pacing around at Fox Sports, panicked, biting your nails, flipping water bottles over, just freaking out. It made me so happy. But they got the win. And now they go, they're
you know what? I'm going to do one of those stupid analogies where you go, if before the game you were offered that scoreline, would you take it? Yeah,
absolutely.
You would. Of course you would, but obviously the context of the game changed that.
Dogs are improving massively, though. They've improving massively, and they seem to just be building every single week, though. And big test them going to Melbourne, but
they beat them last year down there.
One of the upsets of the year last year.
It was. Will lightning strike twice?
I'm guessing you're saying yes.
Oh, it's going to be bloody hard down there. Storm are impressive. I think the Dogs can get it done now. 1-12. The Fox is back against his old club. Fox, anytime try scorer.
I thought you were about to backflip then and just go against him. No. Also, Max King, he's got a broken wrist and he's playing. It's impressive.
Just what footy players do, mate.
But it's impressive.
It is.
Yeah. I'd probably take a week off the buy round if I broke my wrist.
You'd probably go on holiday,
Yeah, I'd
wouldn't
probably
you?
have to.
Yeah.
But good on him.
Again.
Then Friday night, the second game of the Brisbane Derby, Dolphins against the Broncos. The Dolphins are top of the table Dolphins at the moment, which is interesting. But they've lost Felice Kafusi and Herbie Farnworth for a couple of weeks. Reece Walsh is back as well.
Yes. I really wish the Dolphins were at full strength for this one. Really wish they were. It's got and obviously Farnworth against his old team. I thought Flegler was going to be gone. Glad he's playing. It'll be obviously no Payne Haas. Maybe him and Carrigan will mix it up. But I would have loved to seen Haas versus Flegler. That would have been obviously they play against each other for State of Origin.
Yeah.
But yeah, on a club game. And then Farnworth just against Cobbo or Stags.
Yes.
There would have been some back and forth there, no doubt. And a bit of that personal, I'll show you what you're missing here. I'm gutted for Herbie that he's missing this one. Still be a good game though. Broncos, no Reynolds. I think Jordan Rickey has rolled an ankle in training, so I think Kevin Walters said he's doubtful he's going to play, which should bring Big Ben Tiakora back onto the bench. How can that lad not get picked?
I hope he starts. I hope he just goes straight in the starting team.
No, bring him off the bench.
And just
power. He was first game against the Storm. He got them back into it. Mate, he is frightening. How good he can be. And he's got room to fill. He reminds me a bit of you. I think you could pack on a bit of size, Charlie. I think you've not fully grown into your body yet.
Should we do an experiment and maybe I'll do 6 months of steroids as part of the buy round? I'll do a little daily vlog of it.
I don't know if it needs daily updating.
Yeah, it's probably a bit excessive.
Probably a week, week
maybe
to week.
fortnightly.
Yeah.
Best bits of the fortnight.
Yeah, you
condensed.
Wobbling your pecs.
Yeah.
Mate, if you could...
Will you put my needles in for me as well if I need a hand if I can't find the spot?
Absolutely, yeah. I
It's
reckon...
in the Batusk, isn't it?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
I'd love to see you jacked up, Ben Tiakora style. You need to grow a bit, but on a serious note, Ben Tiakora, what a player he's going to be. Broncos for me in that one.
Adam Reynolds' injury. Do we buy if it's a minor hamstring injury? There was a lot of emotion.
There was, but I got distracted by the emotion. You go back and watch it again. The incident happens. He then involved in the next play. So if it's serious knee injury, there's no way you're involved in the next play. I think... But if it's a serious hamstring injury, you're not involved in the next play. You can't do that. And I don't know. I think it might be an... I don't know. I genuinely don't know. It just something doesn't look right though, does it?
Yeah, it could be because he clashed knees and did his hammy at the same time.
Yeah,
so he's maybe dealing with that little cork in the knee, and then also got the hammy going. But
he's so important to Brisbane's chances for this season, as well as Walsh and Haas. So.
Tristan Saylor kept his spot on the bench as well. Which was interesting. Good on Tristan. He's going really good.
Yeah,
you played with Tristan, didn't you?
We played together.
Was he at the Dragons?
He was there. He was there.
System?
Yeah, I don't know if we actually played together or not. I don't think so. Oh no, maybe we did. But he was definitely there. Yeah.
Then we go to Saturday, Jimmy. The Warriors against the Seagulls.
Game of the round.
It is the game of the round. It's incredible how good the Warriors have been. We were so wrong about it at the bar, and you've eaten some humble pie there on Monday's show, haven't you?
To an extent. I still don't know if they can win the comp.
You're a hater now at this point, mate. You're just a hater.
No.
You're a hater.
I'm not a hater.
You're a hater.
Right. Look, I'll admit when I'm wrong. The Warriors have been a lot better this year than I thought they were going to be. And if you go back and listen to what I said I have no reason. It's just a feeling. I don't know if Sean Johnson can maybe play at that level again. I'm wrong with that. They've got great strength and depth. Bit of a concern that they lost against the Sharks. They couldn't put them away. I'm not getting too carried away with them just yet. It's very early in the season, but well done to the Warriors so far. I do feel if they're going to win the competition, they have to finish top 2, get 2 home semis in New Zealand, and then not play the Panthers in the final.
So someone else has to knock the Panthers out.
I don't know if they can beat Penrith in Sydney and in a grand final.
Yeah. I mean, you could say that, I reckon, about every team.
Well, no. I think the Broncos could beat Panthers in the final.
There would be a lot of baggage.
Absolutely.
There'd
but
be
I think,
a lot of baggage.
yeah, they would, but I think they'd know that they could. There's not many teams that can beat Penrith full stop.
Yeah.
But I think... but there'd be you know what, Charlie, you're right. There are a lot of teams that would look at this situation and go, you know what, I hope someone else does my dirty work for me. Get them out the way. And then also, if you play a team that's beaten Penrith the week before, you know that's like a massive toll taken on them to beat the Panthers. So your advantage, if that's the way you go to the finals.
A team that has beaten Penrith is the Manly Seagulls. They did a very good job, obviously, without Nathan Cleary last week. But the big story for this game is actually, it's more of an off-field.
Yeah.
When I saw the teams come out on Tuesday, so Ben Travojevic moved to the centres, and then I saw Corey Waddell at back row. And I thought, that's strange. Josh Schuster, he's been playing New South Wales Cup. Maybe this is a chance to get him in the team because Ruben Garrick's out with the HIA. Schuster's not in it. And then the next day, on Wednesday, Danny Wilder tweets that Josh Schuster is free to look for other clubs.
Yeah, well, obviously he takes up a lot of salary cap space with the reported $800,000 that he is receiving. So that's the issue. That's one of the issues. Well, it's a major issue with when you see a player performing, that the wage comes into it. The more you're paid, the more that comes into it. And then, I guess he's had a troubled preseason. And look, I'll just acknowledge the fact that he's had to go through that tribunal and inquest into one of his best friends' unfortunate passing, which I can't even begin to understand what would be like. So there's an emotional tax there. There's been physical injuries. So he's been under the pump, Josh. I think he had shingles. Then, obviously in New South Wales Cup, they've looked at him and he's, for whatever reason, not performing the way Manly want him to perform. So he's allowed to look elsewhere. I don't. It's hard to think of a club that would want that style of play at this moment in time. For 800, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Manly would really know that they're going to have to significantly contribute to the wages moving forward in order to clear him off the books and maybe save some money. Probably
half even.
Yeah, potentially.
But I mean, a team could maybe sell the dream of Josh Schuster because you see those players, those chips and the magical things he can do when he's on. But then they'll also look at the other clips where he's not put the effort in defence or the way he's looking New South Wales Cup at the moment, which is not an $800,000 player. And really, the half might, like minimum half. I think you're going to have to throw
the sell would be we can get him for 400.
Yeah.
Like to, if you're the coach, the CEO, the football manager, the board, that we've got this player that one other team has seen this potential, they were willing to pay him 800. We're going to pick up at half.
Yeah.
So if we can get him anywhere near that, and you know what, there's potential value there. There is potential value there if they can get him playing to that. The fact he was on 800 was insane anyway.
But we sat here at the time when it happened and it was an awful deal.
Yeah, but I don't know who they were bidding against.
They weren't they were bidding against themselves.
Yeah.
I think the Tigers were kind of interested at 500. The Tigers can get 500. Then they've come over the top and offered him 800.
Yeah.
So really you should be paying less, if anything, to stay.
To stay, you should. But hopefully he and shows and fulfills the potential that he's shown. But
On
this game is bloody hard to pick. Like,
is it?
what do you mean? Is it? So what you
I think the Warriors should be big favourites. Big favourites.
really?
Yep. Manly are very hot and cold, and there's a lot of emotion there. Yeah, but there was a lot of emotion in that performance. Got DCE breaking the record,
Yeah.
and also that was Penrith Panthers' maybe worst game they've played in a long time. And they had a few things go their way.
Yeah.
Like
I
I
thought
don't know.
that Kohler try was sensational.
I've got my my same game multis actually. This one I've got the Warriors 13+, and anytime try scorer is back. Dallin Watene Lesniak $1.77, paying $3.63.
I like that bet, Charlie. That's a bloody good one.
Didn't get as big odds on Ladbrokes as you got for your one for just 2 legs, but I really like the Warriors.
Don't know about the 13+. That's what scares me in that bet, but I don't mind it.
And you've got Manly.
No, I'm going to back the Warriors, but I think it'll be a close game, mate. It's game of the round.
It is game around. It's a lot of see, Warriors is going to be a lot of Friday 6 o'clock, a lot of Saturday 3 o'clock, and it's great for. I reckon they're good slots for an NRL
Mate, they're
fan.
Good team to watch.
Yeah.
Like they play a good brand. Sorry, Warriors fans, for the start of the year comments.
And even just then, you basically you put so many caveats on actually giving them the credit they deserve. But that's all right. That's all right. Eels Cowboys Saturday 5:30. We've spoken about this. You got the Para. Big call. Rabbitohs Sharks. We've spoken about this game as well in depth from the Rabbitohs side of things. Do you think Sharks maybe flying under the radar a little bit to start the year?
I'm going to pick the Rabbitohs in this one.
I like it.
I've got Souths.
I like it.
I've got
I'm
Souths.
with you. I think the Rabbitohs win as well.
I think they've got to.
Yeah, I've got no choice.
They've got to. They've got to win.
I really hope they do win. I hope they do win.
Don't bullshit me, Charlie. You want them to lose and be part of the pylon.
I do not. That is absolutely
You do.
lie. I want them to win. Keeps the story going. Keeps the story going. Now, in all honesty, I would like to see the Rabbitohs win because I think, I think Jason Mitchell is a great coach, and I hope he does turn things around. And I think he still can turn things around. And I love that he's dropped Cook. I love it. It's he's going out swinging. And if he can, and Malmazulis comes up, and if he has the game of his life, and Jai Gray's come in, it's like
Jai Gray, we've not spoken.
spoken
A lot
about,
of potential and a lot of hype around this kid. So, but Sharks are a funny team. They're still don't know. Still don't know. But South.
Kyle Ero holds his spot as well. He made his, it was not his debut, but it was his first game in a long time for the Sharks, and he kept that centre spot, which was sort of expected going into the year as well, that he'd get the centre spot, and Talakai's now on the bench. Sunday, Tigers, Dragons. Dragons have had a good start to the year, but I looked at the ladder, they're still 15th.
Flanagan was absolutely fuming at the end of that game last week in his press conference. He moved a couple of players around. I think there's been a few switches in terms of who's starting, who's not. It's a really difficult game to pick, this one. Really difficult game. Oh, it's at Campbelltown Stadium. Shane Richardson's big plans. Tigers.
Love it. Also, so happy Jack Bird is playing. When I watched that injury, I watched him go down, I thought he'd done his ACL or something again. It looked so horrific.
It did look bad.
But he's playing this weekend. Final game, we'll go pretty quick on this one. Canberra Raiders against the Gold Coast Titans. Who do you like in that one, Jimmy?
Canberra.
Yeah,
By
Titans.
plenty.
In all sorts.
Yes. All right, Charlie. Hopefully you get that insurance claim sorted out. Please use the correct facilitator.
Yeah.
You don't want to be...
I'm going to ring him after this, actually, because I don't understand why I have to pay an excess when it wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
I'm going to challenge that.
Maybe you could reform how insurance works. Start the campaign on the buy round.
You don't succeed unless you try. Is that the saying?
It's a saying. You don't succeed unless you try. And let's put it up on the wall. Inspire. Take this light down. You don't succeed unless you try. All you gotta do is try. That's it.
That's
all
it.
you need to do.
Try your best.
Yeah, insurance
The rest
reform.
is taken.
Yeah, we should start our own insurance company
We could.
and just be basically, underwritten by, I don't know, one of the big dogs.
Why not? Let's do
Because
it
it's
anyway. I'm
probably
done. I'm out of here.
Why not?
I'm
Because
out
it's
of
going to
here,
take a
mate.
lot of work. All right, thanks for listening, everyone. We'll catch you next week.